let's have a peek here. Game 1 in the winner's bracket of Group Charlie. Day 3 here of King of the Sea on North America. Let's have a peek at the STARD team. Spawning to the north side here, they are bringing St. Vincent, Yamato, Stalingrad, Marseille, and Nevsky. And then fronted by 4 destroyers, Gearing Marceau, Z-52, and a Vampire Deuce.
It's interesting, you know, X100 is a bit of a destroyer player, but I remember seeing Nito Klaas in the Z-52 a lot, so...
We've seen Nito do good work in that Z-52, especially on this map. We had a clinic game with him once on this map. So we'll see how X100 handles it. Talk to me about the bonks lineup, Zach.
Sorry. Kerensky says, I think you guys just broke my sarcasm detector. Anyway, all right, so over on the side of bonks, we've got a Preußen, which we saw yesterday that was pretty awesome.
Used well.
We'll have to see how she can be used again today. And then look at this, baconated in a Colombo.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, and then for cruisers, we got Des Moines, Venezia, Moskva, Nevsky. Destroyers, 3 of them. We've got Kleber, we've got Grozovoy, and we've got Yu Yang. Now, this Yu Yang is a radar Yu Yang. Interesting. Okay. He's going off to the side. He's going off to the side where both ships are self-sufficient. Both the Colombo and Venezia have the ability to make Inky.
Yep, they can smoke themselves out of trouble spots should it come to that. And honestly, the way that STARD is deploying, it looks like it is going to come to that, Zach, because they are sending a tremendous amount of firepower over that side of the map. Both their battleships, the Stalingrad and the Marseille, all going towards the eastern flank.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of a toilet bowl action going on here as both teams are basically opting to put the heavier bits of their push on opposite sides of the map. So bonks going for Alpha and STARD going for Charlie.
Yep, each team looking to push on their respective left flank. So could be looking at a bit of a clockwise game here as their right flank, depending on which team you're talking about. Well, both teams' right flanks, their respective flanks have to kind of kite and retreat.
I do like, so Nito Klaas going early into the B cap, but COTS 14 backup 138 was detected in the Moskva, and as a result, Nito Klaas is backed up, knowing that 12-kilometer radar can cause problems.
Look at Nito. Look at put your radar up and look at him follow that line back into the cap.
That's exactly what we've been doing. That's exactly what we've been doing.
That is textbook destroyer play right there, ladies and
gentlemen.
Now the Moskva is probably going to push back up to try and get Nito back in range of his radar, I'm guessing.
Hasn't moved yet.
Yep, here it comes.
There we go.
His radar isn't active. Now it's active. Still hasn't found Nito. Will in just a second or two. And right about this, got to cross the midpoint of the ship. There it is. Nito's lit. He'll push out of the cap. He'll allow the Moskva to ding him and push him off the cap just for a little bit. Oh, he missed all those shots.
He did.
And he's being backed. Montanus, I mean, Yamato salvo coming in on that Moskva as well.
That's right. Fratstar opening up with the Nevsky. Shells all around him.
Nito, again, out of the radar. You can see the radar line about 100 meters or so behind Nito's hull and retreating as the Moskva has to push back.
That's right.
By the time Nito gets back into the cap, that radar will be expired. Nito should be able to pick up B. Just brilliant destroyer plays that. That's a privilege to watch.
Yeah, he's got about 2 minutes now to play with. It's an easy cap for him. And it's important to note, remember guys, the players do not have this mod. They don't get a line on the water telling them how much they see. They have to guesstimate. Okay, I think from this point I can hit the backside of B cap. Yep.
We get to see that in the mode we have, but they certainly do not.
And that would be why the Moskva popped the radar and wasn't able to detect Nito Klaas right away, even though Nito was still in the cap.
Gearing has left. Lord Lauren has left Roke some smoke over here for his Nevsky A as Roke gets turned around, ready to kite. His radar is down. They used it to push Todd Howards as Grozovoy off the cap earlier. Todd now reversing back in, takes a torpedo.
Wow.
Even more damage going into the Grozovoy early here at the A cap.
Well, he does get a heal.
He does. He's going to need it. He's already one charge in. He's only got 2 more, so
I'll tell you, Star D has been really good with their use of destroyer play. We saw that earlier with
Oh,
Nido Class
yeah.
and the Vampire Deuce.
Oh,
Nascimento
yeah.
and the Marceau. Look at his rotation. Beautiful use of those torpedoes right down the channel. Even if they don't hit Todd Howards, that's going to force him off of the cap again.
Yep, Star in general, in my mind, has always sort of been known for their destroyer play, and we're definitely seeing it here. Nito's little vampire dance, the
Ooh.
gearing torpedoes. They're just doing brilliant work with the destroyers they brought. You begin to understand why they have 4 in the lineup.
Mm-hmm. Todd Howards barely. I mean, those torps could have come a lot closer to him. That was crazy to watch.
But it's Star D out to an early cap lead here, 90 points and climbing as BONKS finally does pick up A. It takes them a little while. And so now as Star builds their lead, it's going to be on BONKS to put some pressure on them somehow.
The interesting thing is, you know, you've got... Oh, Nido Claus taking a torp.
Yep. Almost dodged it. Couldn't quite manage it out here in mid.
And his Hydro was available. Ouch.
Yep, that hurts.
That hurts.
You see now that those brand new 12-kilometer Grozavoy torpedoes coming into play there, Zath, because once upon a time, those Grozavoy torpedoes wouldn't have had the range to reach him, but they do now.
Still, we got 2 cap lead for Star D, so really it's up to BONKS to figure out how can we get back into this game. Baconated in the Colombo is already kiting away. You've got the Venezia Griefer also kiting away. Stevie at my door kiting away.
You know, BONKS's right flank was set up to kite the same way that the Star D right flank was set up to kite. And so now that the game has sort of developed the way that their strategies intended, both teams are looking for ways to sort of start putting pressure on the opposing team in some fashion. Certainly the amount of damage they put into Baconated is a bit of a problem if you're BONKS.
Nagato coming under fire now, tried to go into B cap, and Nascimento and Klaus are just like, no, get out of here. This is our cap.
We
go
say
away.
no. We said no, sir.
But that's it, right?
He's going in now, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're BONKS, you got 2 choices, right? You go for B or you go to C. And where do they have more of their forces? Over B.
Furubex's radar is not in range of Nagato. They have no way to spot him other than spotting him the old-fashioned way with their face.
Mm-hmm.
Nito's going to reverse back to the cap, but I don't think he's going to get there in time to prevent it. He'll get there in time to stall the points, but that's about it.
I mean, there's 15 seconds left. He's got to... He might make it?
No.
No?
Nah, it's not going to happen. Ships in reverse just don't move that quick.
Place your bets now, folks.
He's only doing like 12. He's probably doing 12 knots, maybe in reverse.
Yep.
See?
There they go. Get
He's
the
going
cap.
to sneak in there. He's going to sneak in there to block it, but he couldn't stop the flip.
Right.
So now both teams ticking up 1 cap 8 minutes in.
Yep. So, all right, Nito now using those using the Hydro to detect the torps. Good, but now they get the cap.
Nagato ducks out of the cap almost immediately. That's going to allow Nito to probably flip it right back. Des Moines radar coming up from Morb over on the 3 line. Going to pick up Nascimento's Marceau, but not going to find Nito just yet.
Oh, look at Morb in the Des Moines.
Yeah.
Over at A. Some big focus fire coming in on him now.
Nito's going to be able to pick up this cap just ahead of that radar line.
Yep.
Still 15 seconds left on that Des Moines radar. That's a bold push for Morb. He's going to get away with it. Neither of the battleships in a position to punish him for that play.
No, and I was looking for it, but, you know, they're just too far away.
Yeah. I mean, the Yamato could have, but not from his island position. He would have had to have moved up quite a bit to be able to take that shot at Hooper.
Right. Now, Honey Badger and the Preußen's in an interesting position. That's where you'd normally expect to see a Des Moines. You know?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I'm a little surprised to see them. This is going to sound harsher than I mean it to sound, but kind of piss away a battleship in this slot, right? You've got 110,000 hit points and big old 457 millimeter guns, and where are they? They're sitting behind an island on the 1 line where they can't really impact the battle right now. It feels a little bad because we're getting close to the halfway mark. you're really going to need those guns, I think.
Absolutely. As Dyer's Yu Yang detected by X-100's Hydro, who is detected by Dyer's radar over at the 10 line. Dyer taking some hits there from Flores' St. Vincent.
Indeed, a little bit of detect and counter detect here, depending on who's pushing the button here over on the 10 line.
The key, though, of course, is Yu Yang radar doesn't last anywhere near as long as Z52 Hydro. So that forces Dyer to back off and kind of relinquish that board positioning for now, at least.
Nito coming under a tremendous amount of focus fire from Fratstar's Nevsky radar. They've brought both their 12-kilometer radars here to mid. They realize BONKS does. They're going to have to cap B and hold it sooner or later. So they've pulled everybody here to do that. And I think they've got the firepower and the detection to finally make it stick.
Well, that's absolutely what they have to do at this point. They got to find a way back into the game. And B seems to be their decided positioning. So as Nito Klaus decides to toss some torpedoes at his own teammate, because why not?
Yep. Because, well, that's what you do, right? 9 minutes to play, and the B cap now looks to be firmly in the hands of BONKS because they have two 12-kilometer radars sitting on the edge of it. Now, if they can take away the Moskva, which is a possibility simply because they've been chewing away at his HP for a long time, that does increase their odds, but it's really Fratstar's Nevsky position that's going to be decisive, I think, in holding that cap for BONKS.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, and you're right. If they can somehow get COTS back up 138 out of this game, I think they're in a good position. Baconated now taking a decent hit there in the Colombo. By the way, healing up quite a bit from what we saw earlier, so he's not out of this game anytime.
Not at all. He backed off. He took a couple of heals and has pushed back up into the middle of the map, which is an interesting position for a battleship. There's almost always good opportunities for shots from there. Nascimento's Marceau now into the B cap, lit on radar by Morbs Des Moines.
Yeah, this is a very, it's almost kind of like a desperate play. Like, he's got to get in, he's got to go all the way to the island to duck in for cover. In the process, the Des Moines is going to have an angle on him. He's reversing right now. Morb, there he goes.
Well, and it's not just the Des Moines. It's Fratstar's Nevsky's got shots. The Des Moines shots are coming in. This feels too soon, Zath.
Yes.
This feels like a desperation play they don't need to make because there are still 7 or 8 minutes in the game, and they're going to lose Nascimento for basically no gain.
Yes. Yes, I don't think that was a good decision, but I mean...
it wasn't necessary to do that at that time, I don't think.
Yeah, they were probably not aware of Morb's positioning in the Des Moines, although he was last spotted in that area, so you would think...
And they know he's over there, right? They watched him cut across that gap, and the Nevsky and the Gearing haven't seen him pop out, so they know he's over there somewhere.
Yep. Meanwhile, Honey Badger in the Preußen seems like he heard you because he's moving now into the middle.
Finally moving up here. STARD clinging to a 40-point lead, but they're going to lose that on the current trajectory here in just the next 60 seconds or so. We're going to have a lead change.
That's right. I got to say, it's very interesting. With Honey Badger moving, you can see Lord Lauren in the Gearing and Rokek and the Nevsky are already starting to rotate farther over. And if Honey Badger leaves the area, that's going to leave, I'm going to Morb out to dry in the Des Moines.
Maybe a little bit, but there's nothing over there that can really punish him, is there? There's not a battleship on that flank. There's just the Gearing and the Nevsky. That's it.
That's right. So we're talking about kind of, minutes of just constant HE spam from long range. Now, the problem is that BONKS is going to win in 2 minutes and 40 seconds if nothing else changes.
Yep. They've slowly worked their way back to a very, very solid, very difficult to assail board control position here over the B cap. Fratstar now burning his second radar of the game.
Detecting Nito Klaus.
Picking up Nito and the Marseille. Doesn't look like anybody's got shots on Nito, though. No, I lied. The Moskva's taking shots, and some of the destroyers on the far side of the cap.
That's right. They see him. They know where he's at. Even if they don't actually see him and can target him, they can still use the mini-map to aim. And I think that's what the first salvos were. Here come the second ones. Nito's in trouble.
They are able to get him down under 1,000 HP. More shells continuing to fall. That radar has another 3 seconds. Can they hit him?
Nice job
They
dodging
don't.
so far by Nito. Expert dodging.
Nito
Slow
sneaking
down.
away, but pretty much can't get spotted the rest of the match. We have had a lead change. Bonks 20 points and climbing.
More shells coming in. Nope. Nito's going to be okay. Now it's Benevolent Fair who is seemingly the focus target.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Benevolent popping his reload booster, trying to punish Dyer for throwing shells at his teammate. But
Nope.
the Marseille, the Benevolent is
Yeah.
turning directly into all of these deep waters. He doesn't know it yet. Oh,
Yeah, this is going
he's
to be
gonna
bad.
take at least 3 or 4 of these. 1, 2,
4.
3, 4. And it's
Enough to
enough
take
to
him out.
put him out. Big kills. We're now
Ouch.
seconds away at 2 quick kills as they do finally bag Nito. Blind fire, fishing him out of that cap. Seconds away from a bonks win here in game 1.
X100 going back into B saying this is it. This is the only thing we can do. 20 seconds to go in the game.
It's not going to matter. What live or die, this cap is not going to win the game for these guys because they're already too close to losing.
No. And this will be it right here. There it
There it
goes.
is. When he dies, that's the game. There you go.
Got my death pick.
Bonks gives up some board position early, goes down, but claws back in, never surrenders a ship, and manages to pick up a tiny little win here in game 1.
Yeah.
General quarters.
General quarters, everybody. Here we go. Game 2. This is Bonks versus Star D. Star D needs to find a way to get back in. This is a best of 3. So they need to win if they want a chance to advance to tomorrow in through the winner's bracket. There's still a possibility later. So, Bonks comes to this particular battle with a Montana, a Kremlin, a Des Moines, double Marseille, a Moskva, a Nevsky, Gearing, and Kleber. So they are looking more cruiser heavy. Interesting.
A very cruiser heavy lineup from Bonks here on Tears of the Cruisers.
Cruisers. That's right. That's right.
Opposing them from the south, Star D coming with a little more of a traditional lineup, I would wager, bringing Ohio, Yamato, Des Moines, Venezia, and Stalingrad for their cruisers, rounding things out with 4 destroyers, Daring Shima, Vampire Deuce, and Yu Yang.
Is that a radar Yu Yang?
Let's have a peek.
Smoke.
It is not. That is a smoke Yu Yang, Captain Benevolence Yu Yang back here, paired with Nito Claus's Des Moines.
Yeah, so we might see a little bit of Death Nail action going on there between those two ships.
We might indeed. It's interesting. This is now the second game in a row we've seen Bonks kind of run the double Marseille strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be curious to see if it's as effective here.
Now, it's worth noting that Bonks also has their own Death Nail setting up going towards Charlie Kep with the Des Moines. And, of course, that Nevsky could always choose to duck in if necessary.
True.
Nascimento.
Go ahead.
Nascimento coming into B now with his Vamp Deuce. Interesting that he's already making his turn out, and he's looking like he's ready to run if he gets radared.
Well, and we're going to see something today. This game's Ath we didn't see yesterday, the games we saw in Tears of the Desert, and that is the Northern Spawn team is not even going to make an attempt to contest the middle of the board.
That's right.
So one of the things that this cruiser heavy lineup pushes Bonks into, and they do come into the game with over 100,000 health advantage, is that they're going to spend at least the early part of the game down on points because they're not going to be able to control the board early.
True. Now, we saw that yesterday. We saw the decisive play at B. However, because of the, I guess you could say, lack of ships on either flank, we saw like the whole game fall apart, and that was the YOLO K game. So it'd be interesting to see if that happens again. Will Star D be able to rotate assets to the flanks quickly enough now?
To me, the biggest question that I have if I'm Star D is how do I start to whittle down this health advantage? I'm upside down a significant number. How do I start breaking into that, right?
Well, I think part of that is what you're seeing right now with Battleship Nagato being obviously spotted and focused and possibly going to take a torp out the butt. Oh, just barely turns in time.
We know X100 has had good work with his Shimakaze torpedoes.
Mm-hmm.
Watched it yesterday on Sea of Fortune. He was able to I think, eventually outduel a Gearing at long range with torpedoes. He literally ended up in a torpedo duel with a Gearing and managed to win.
Right.
So we saw STARD pick up the C cap early. Greifer's radar coming in, pushing Beldoran off the cap. That's going to allow Todd Howards to work back in and flip it until they're able to get Beldoran, or who's the Yang down here? That's Captain Benevolent in there to contest.
Now, it's worth noting, Beldoran had his Hydro going. He was able to detect those Gearing torps, which are, notoriously low detect. And that enabled him to not take a torpedo at that pivotal moment.
Todd Howard's already well within the range of Nito's Des Moines radar, but Nito holding that right now, not wanting to mess, not feeling the need for it.
Yep, as torpedoes come in for the Death Snail. Now, interesting, Squarius Des Moines, he peeled away from that Death Snail.
Yep.
I'm kind of
and now
scratching my head on that one.
Now he's turned back in facing B. Zath, if I'm honest, I kind of like this play because look at Honey Badger's Kremlin position. I think they're going to push him into this cap over here. Do you remember where we saw Beans Des Moines yesterday on Tears of the Desert?
Yeah.
Right here, snuggled up to this island. I think it's exactly what they're about to do with Honey Badger.
So, it was a previous King of the Sea, maybe the last one. I distinctively remember a team shoving a Kremlin into that middle island. And that's exactly what Honey Badger's doing right now. And you're right. I mean, that's a very powerful play. Because how do you get the Kremlin out?
It's a very strong position. That's going to be STARD's challenge, right? Honey Badger has decided, hey, this is my cap. You want it, you come through me.
Yeah.
And so now Star's got to figure out how they're going to dislodge him.
And Roquek has detected him, so they know now that the Kremlin is heading into B. So STARD is going to have to find a way to deal with that.
What's impressive to me, Zath, is in this position, they have so few ships that are going to have shells on him, he might even be able to cap. And it looks like that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got some...
As he takes a good salvo at Lord Lawrence Venezia.
Yeah, they got some resets on him, but... Well, Lord Lawrence going to try to get over that island.
They're going to try to reset him again, but the shells are not going to arrive in time. The Kremlin is going to cap B just before those shells arrive.
Okay, well, just like that, BONKS has all three caps.
6 minutes into the game, BONKS with total control of the board here on Tears of the Desert, which was STARD's map pick. So now it's a question of how do they intend to get back into this game? Keep an eye on Greifer. He's got some deep water torpedoes coming in on his starboard side that he does not yet know are there. His hydro is offline.
He's about to find out.
He's about to take two of them.
Yeah, he just took... Oh, yep, there it is. DCP. He's going to force him to back off. He's not spotted, though.
No, he's not.
So what does that mean? That means that the Yu Yang says, hey, I got 2 torpedo hits. They know they hit something. They don't know what. They're guessing it's probably going to be the Nevsky. They don't know how healthy he is because they can't see him.
Now, one of the things we haven't talked about, Zath, is that critical island up in B2 in the top left of the corner of the map. Sometimes we see teams push Des Moines up here, but what we're seeing today, BONKS has opted to push double Marseille up to this point of the map.
So I really like this position because the business end of the Marseille, of course, is their front. And by putting Fratstar and Ocean Man in these positions, it's really hard to dig them out. They basically are covering each other's sterns. Nascimento trying to conga line, but just barely missing.
Yep, Ocean with a big dodge there. Yeah, you put a Marseille on the other side of this island and then just dare them to do something about it, and they are going to struggle. 160 point lead in building now for BONKS. STARD seeming to struggle with what are they going to do to try and get back in these caps.
They're going to have to find a way to make it happen. Now, there's a daring. Beldoran just got into B cap, so they're at least going to stop that point bleed.
They can hold back some of those points, but he's going to dive out of them, Zath. He dove in long enough to fire torps, then left immediately. He's not even radar.
No, but you can see the Des Moines using ASW planes to try to at least figure out where he's sitting. And I wouldn't be surprised if Beldoran was trying to go in to see if he could trigger a radar.
Could have maybe snuck in there, seeing if they could pop one. They might have an idea of where Squarius is at the moment. Captain Benevolent is going to pick up C, but if I'm honest, if I'm BONKS, I'm going to let him have C, right? I've got such a commanding lead right now. The game is going to be won or lost at B, in my opinion, and they've still got to find a way to root out that Kremlin.
So here's the thing. Speaking of rooting out that Kremlin, in my opinion, the best way to do that is to get that C group pushing up to get behind him. But of course, that means there's a Gearing, a Nevsky, and a Montana that they're going to have to do. That's not an easy task by any means.
To me, your other good option is using Beldoran here. His conga line torpedoes have the opportunity to really punish Honey Badger, and Beldoran looks to be taking that position.
Let's go take a look. What were those shells aimed at? Ah, Hooper. Hooper and the Ohio going in now.
Hooper's Ohio driving into mid. This is probably going to draw a tremendous amount of focus fire hate from BONKS. He's very exposed out here.
Yeah, well, we already saw at least one of the Marseilles firing at him. We got the Moskva as well firing at him. And Des Moines firing at him.
He's turning out now. Looks like he's going to decline to head in there.
Honey Badger's coming out. Now look at this. Beldoran smoking up and shooting.
Yeah, and revealing the location of the Kremlin, but the Kremlin wanted that broadside shot on Hooper as he made the turn, and he got it.
The thing is, Beldoran knows as soon as Honey Badger started moving, those conga line torps were going to fail. So at that point, what the hell?
It's all I can think of. He fires the regular spread as he's lit in there. Who popped their radar?
Kot's back up.
The Moskva popped his radar. So now Honey Badger's having to play the dodge game, seeing if he can avoid as many of these torpedoes as he can.
Big hit on Hooper there from Honey Badger.
Yep, Montana shells coming in.
Montana, the 1-2 punch.
Another big salvo. I think they're going to lose Hooper for this play, Zath. There's going to be a notable amount of damage going into Honey Badger. He's going to take 3, 4, all of them. Big kill from Beldoran. His torpedoes finally connect. First blood goes to STARD. So what do you think, Zath? You called it at the time. Did you like the Kremlin play coming out from around? I don't think he needed to.
It was a very aggressive play. Obviously, in hindsight, you can see what happened. Hooper's going to go down either way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's powering through it right now because his heel is up, but when his heel goes down, he's going to be out.
He's on double fire. There's his final defiant shots.
Yep.
Down he goes.
The enemy is about to
Vampire Deuce, that's Nascimento into A. In a moment, Beldoran will be into B. It's a bit of a desperation time here for STARD. They've got to convert these caps and start holding these points back.
Right, that they do.
Disquarius getting farmed out, taking a tremendous amount of damage from astern.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. He's in smoke, but he's detected.
He's under radar. Nito's got him radared in there.
Right.
He's just now managed to eke out of it and put out his fires.
Right. Now is the part where you look for a battleship salvo to come from the other side. Oh, wait. The battleship's dead.
Yep. Except for the Yamato, that's Floors, that's about to drive directly into the B cap, and I think they're going to punch Squarius right in the face. He's already got his guns turned looking for this salvo.
Yeah, but Todd Howard's has got some torpedoes as well coming in.
I think Floors is probably going to end up with one of these in the bow.
He's going to take
actually
two
one on the
turning.
belt. He's going to take one on the port belt right there.
Not catastrophic.
Looking for Squarius. They know Squarius is there. They've got him on fire again.
I don't even think they need Flores' Yamato. Yeah,
I
he's shooting at Griefer.
don't think they do. In fact, Flores just took his salvo at Griefer way over here on the 10 line. Squarius is repairing now, trying to get back into smoke, lit again.
This is the hard part of competitive. You cannot declare a ship dead until it's actually dead.
No, and STARD needs this kill. They need to convert this kill on Squarius while they can.
Yeah.
But I think there's so much focus fire going on Flores, they're probably going to lose him.
I don't like the decision Flores to stop and reverse. This just...
No, I think he should have just kept pushing.
Yes.
I mean, at this point, they're just going to burn him out for free.
Don't like this at all.
Both STARD battleships basically surrendering a tremendous amount of HP here in the middle of the board, and in the end, it costs both of them their ships.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like it was necessary.
No, I don't think they got anything. They didn't get anything out of either play, really.
The Ohio one at least just took the Kremlin out with the process, but
it was more about the Kremlin's mistake moving up than anything, in my opinion.
Yeah,
If the Kremlin had held back and held his position, I still think they would have killed that Ohio.
I agree. Well, regardless, 50 seconds to go.
Yep.
They're trying desperately to kill these squares still. Roquek now in the Stalingrad is coming under focus fire.
Yeah. Bonks is now seconds away from a win here. STARD desperately needs a kill to get a time extension.
Yeah. And a match extension.
Yep. All these destroyers swanning around on the middle board. It doesn't happen. The daring goes down, and it's going to be a 2-0 sweep here for Bonks. They are moving on to day 4.
Okay. And I heard, apparently you had a little reverb going on